everyone, this is Chris. Thank you for joining me. In today's video, I would like to show you another way you can use your pastels, soft pastels, also known as chalks. And it's a very interesting way to use them because we're going to be able to make all sorts of backgrounds and in a very vibrant way. More vibrant than if you were just kind of scribbling or drawing with these. And you can also have a kind of a watercolor effect if you can see these butterflies I used. So it's very simple to do, and it's another way to use stuff. You know, when you buy something, you just don't want to use one way. It's always interesting to find other ways, and very simple. So what you will need for this is, of course, some chalks. Very cheap brand. This is a Surgeon Art. Whatever the brand is, it will work just fine. You don't need to buy something very expensive. You will need some stencils. So the brand I've used here are Pastels, and these are like of cardstock or craft stock paper. It's very lightweight and it's perfect for this technique. I love them. They come in a pack of 10 and they're all different. I'm going to use other kinds of stencils. Any kind of stencils will do, actually. Even the silk screens will work. You know, the one that we normally use for glass etching, or if you want to paint on plates, for example, ceramics. This is perfect because there's one side that is kind of sticky, and it's also going to work. And I'm using a cardstock paper, the one that I usually use for my card base, something that is not too lightweight because we're going to use a little bit of water, and if it's too lightweight or too thin, it's going to seep through. It's not going to work that much. So I'm just using here a spray bottle with tap water. If you don't want to use this, you can also put a little bit of water into a dish. I'm going to use cotton balls, regular cotton balls, don't see fancy, and we're going to use this to grab our chalk. And if you also want, you could also use, like I did here, this is watercolor paper. It's 300 grams. It's a really good brand, but it's more expensive, so you don't have to use these. So what I'm going to start by doing is taking a little cotton ball. I'm going to start with a brand new one, and I'm going to wet it. It doesn't have to be soaked wet, just a little bit, to be able to grab some of your chalks here. So I'm going to bring it over here so you can see, and I've got my paper down here and my stencil. So choose whatever color, just to make sure you're going to see. I'm going to use a little bit of this blue here, and then you're going to dab onto your paper. And what I like with this technique is going to be very bright. It's going to dry quite fast because it's not that wet, and you can build up your colors. If you're not happy with this because you still think it's a little too light, you can come back when it's dry, or even when it's wet. Right now I can always come back and build a little more. So I'm grabbing a little bit more of my pastels here, my chalks, and I'm coming back over. Now I'm changing my cotton ball, and I'm going to use this orange. It's still wet, so I'm going to come here, and I'm going to use orange there. I'm just using one cotton ball for each color, so I don't contaminate too much my chalks. But if you do contaminate them, don't worry. When it's dry, just put your finger on top and you will get rid of the other color if you did contaminate them. But it's not a big deal, really. Now I'm going to use my yellow. I don't have yellow. It's all icky. So I'm going to use a brand new one. And I prefer to use my bottle of my spray bottle because I really have more control than if I had to dip my cotton ball into water. Might be too watery. And you can blend these colors very nicely as well. And I'm going to blend it a little bit of my blue here. And again, you can come back if you're not satisfied with this. Let me see, I'd like to use a little bit of this pink. Yeah, this one. It's a dark pink, but I think it's going to look just great. Yeah, oh, it's gonna look, oh, I already like it. I'm not sure how it's gonna look like, but it really, I like the colors. If you like vibrant colors, I'm sure you're gonna love this technique. And you could do these with gelatos. I mean, it's not just specific to chalks, but if you have chalks, okay, revelation, ta-da, how bright this is. Let me zoom in a little bit. There you go. See how vibrant this is? I've got a little bit more blue here than there, and it has a very watery look to it, watercolor look to it. It's very organic. I love it. It's gonna dry fairly quickly because it's not that damp, but you still need this kind of heavier cardstock. And what is nice with this is that you can always overlap with other stencils on top. I'm just going to show you something before doing this, and I'm going to use this stencil because I've been playing with this before, and I really want you to see what I'm doing. So I need to go back, zoom out a little bit. Let me see. I think that's going to be good. Okay, because I really want you to see what I'm going to do there. That's the important part. So I'm going to take another cotton ball. I'm going to wet it. And I'm going to try to use this whole length of it. Okay, and I'm going to use 2 colors at a time, which is going to be perfect for this kind of stencil, but I could have done the same with the other stencil. And I'm going to go for these 2 colors. So this one is purple, and this one is more on the pink side. I hope you will be able to see this. And I'm going to grab my 2 colors here at the same time. Let me put it here. At least the first time. See, so I've got 2 colors on my cotton ball. And now I'm going to put my stencil here. And watch this. How easy is this? And when it's getting too dry, you just need to spray a little bit more. And look at that. I've done stripes in 2 different colors in just a second, just by using 2 colors on the same cotton ball. So that's really neat. I love it. Now I want to put a butterfly on this one. So I'm just going to put my other stencil here on top. And again, you can't wait for this to dry, or you can just do it right away. It's going to maybe have a different effect, but that's totally up to you. I'm going to use this one again, and I think I'm going to use orange. And again, just going on top, dabbing. I could have made it a darker color because it's going to see through my butterflies. We're going to see the stripes I just did, but that's fine to me. And look at that. I've got my butterfly. And it's still very translucent, but you can see it obviously. So that's a very fun way to use it. I am going to use another stencil on top of this one. Which one am I going to use? Some that I didn't. Oh, I might use this one. I like it. I'm going to show you this one. And I'm going to overlap. I've used already here some acrylic ink. Paint, I mean. And I really like these colors. I'm gonna go for maybe some blue. I'm gonna go from blue. Yes. Actually, I could go for every colors because it looks like mosaic. And I might do that, in fact. Let me go back with some orange around here. A little bit of spritz. And I don't want to directly put the spray on my paper. Maybe with watercolor you could do that, because I'm afraid that it's going to be too damp. Here it's just my cotton ball that is taking most of the color, actually. and a little bit of pink. This is a bright pink. Yes, I love it. I'm in love with bright colors. A little bit up. Come on. There you go. I need to take a little bit more. And I'm really not using that much of my pastels. Don't be worried you're going to use them up, because you're not. It's not that much. It's just that the water activates it and it makes it look really bright. Okay, I've just done a little piece of it, but look, so you can really overlap, make something very interesting, and use all kinds of stencils. You can make your own. You can use your dies to make stencils like negatives, and that would be perfect. So I just wanted to show you these techniques because they're really great. This one was made with this one, which is a silk screen I talked to you about. I think these are from Martha Stewart, and they work just fine, especially I think on watercolor, but don't use too much water for this because otherwise it gets a little blurry. But I still think it's very interesting. I'm going to try to see if it's going to work on this paper, or I'm maybe going to use another one. Let me see. I'd like to use this kind of doily here. So I'm going to put the sticky part down, and I'm going to use again some kind of pinkish color. Or, yeah, let me see. And this time I think I need to brush it a little bit over. Just not dabbing is not enough. This is what I've done for the first one. Just a little bit. And even though these stencils look fragile, but they're not as much as they seem to be or seem to look. Maybe you need a little bit of water. And I think I'm going to go with more bright pink on top of it. Yes, I think you need to do this a little bit because this is this screen on it. It doesn't go really well onto the paper. Really hope it's gonna work. And a little bit of this bright pink on top. But it's really a nice, a fun way to use things differently. And to make this really stick to your paper and not heavy, because you can rub this with your hands, obviously. Not as much if you were just drawing with your pastels, but I would just use some very, very cheap hairspray. Give it a mist, about, you know, I don't know, 20 centimeters high. And yeah, just give it a mist, and your hairspray, very cheap one, is gonna fix the colors. So I hope it's gonna work. It's not that bad. Maybe spend a little more time on it. Let me do this close up so you can see. I think if I put it this way you can see it better. So it's not perfect. I think I've put more water here, but then it's blending. But just to let you know that you can try and give it a chance also to work and use different colors. So there you go. Very nice to make some backgrounds for your cards or some scrapbooking, or also you could use this for making some flowers and use your punch holes and get some dies out of there. So there you go. I hope you like this. Please leave me your comments. I always come back to you. Don't forget to give me some thumbs up as well and subscribe to this channel. Thank you very much. See you soon. Take care. Bye-bye.